Welcome to Hop on Calls, a short, tactical, and practical podcast for outbound sales professionals looking to level up their game by learning from actual cold calls that I make every week live on LinkedIn. My name's Kevin Hopp, and I'm all about helping outbound sales professionals hone their craft and build high-quality pipeline. Let's dive right in and see what we can learn in this episode.
With no further ado, I'm going to jump into my queue. Once again, I'm calling IT leaders. I'm going to be using Kixie today to make my phone calls. Shout out to our sponsor, Kixie. All-in-one telephony provider for any business out there, but they also have a power call feature set, which is going to allow me to make a high velocity of phone calls in a short period of time. So I'm really excited about that. Oh, here we are. What are you seeing as like emerging trends or the leading trends in outbound sales for 2023?
Yeah. So, when it comes to trends, it's like what I believe is a hypothesis. We'll see if it remains to be true. I'm going to go ahead and go into what my answer is. I'm curious what everyone else thinks as well. So in the comments, what you think the trends is for outbound. I'm just curious on your opinion. I'm not going to hijack your opinion. I have mine already. So I have like three things. So one is that I think that there will be, if you could do this correctly, by the way, you gotta do this correctly. Because if you don't do it correctly, like I can't help you. I actually think if you are going outbound and we're doing it right now, and it's not just because I'm saying this, I think the cold calling will make a comeback because I think a lot of people right now are just like, you know what? Cold calling didn't work for me like during COVID, post-COVID, 2 years after. I don't want to do it. People aren't picking up the phone. So there will be, I think, less people making cold calls.
Hey, Kevin here with Silver Sky Technologies. Did I catch you with a second to have a cold conversation? She hung up? You kidding? All right. Double tap. Coming at it. Coming at her. She picked up the phone and said, hey, this is... Oh, fantastic. Sent me right to voicemail. Right to voicemail. Immediately to voicemail. All right. So anyways, we are making live cold calls here, people. So it's going to be kind of random when the introductions happen. So you think...
No, we're good.
Bit of a comeback is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, look, if someone disagrees with me, you can message me or comment. Like I'm open to that conversation. But here's the thing, and we're not saying that because we're just here. Like I'll always say what I believe. So you just have to think about like what I always think about what people are not doing, right? So if people are not doing something, then you should maybe consider, maybe there's an opportunity. And I say maybe because there's some things that you just should not do, right? Like you shouldn't pitch and connect. That's probably something you should do. So my thing is people are going to do it less because they're like, you got to think about our generation, right? Gen Z, millennials, way less likely prone to call. Most people never use their phone to call anymore. So I'm thinking you just don't have the skill set to actually make calls because that's not how you grew up, right?
Yeah. So
the amount of people making those calls will be low. Now, here's the thing about cold calling that also is an obstacle, right? You got Apple who can now look at spam risk. Okay, that's a thing. I'm not going to acknowledge. I'm not going to be like, I don't know that. But the key here is that when you're making these calls, if you do get someone to pick up and you're proficient, you're going to stand out because I don't think a lot of people are doing them right now. But this is just what I've been hearing. My hypothesis could be off. I'm just saying I actually think that's going to be a really big trend. Number two is, and when I say this, don't like roll your eyes and be like, oh, like I need to go do all these things. And it's not creating content. It's to be within your LinkedIn network and then be engaged. That doesn't mean that you need to go create videos and all that stuff like that. You can if you want to. And I know a lot of people have been doing that. You just need to figure out where your audience is and engage them. That could be, hey, I see you posting. I'm commenting. I'm connecting with people. I'm in the DMs. And that's where you're going to win. Because just because a lot of people aren't posting on LinkedIn doesn't mean that they aren't active. So you have to be thinking about how can I just be digitally everywhere without, you don't even have to post a lot. It's, hey, can I do DMs to people? Can I ask for referrals? Can I ask questions? Can I look for advice? Like that outbound will create just a spiral effect because now you're going to be able to touch different people without you having to do all those different things. So that's going to be big. And this one will be interesting for you all because I just said it. When people think of outbound, they think of like cold emails. They think of cold calls. And, I'm always a fan of cold emails for sure. But this goes with emails is asking for referrals. It's still like an outbound strategy. You still got to reach out to someone to go get things done. So referrals will be big. If you've been doing what you should be doing for the past couple years or maybe in the past couple months, this is a good time to start asking for referrals. And I think this will be big because we're moving into like microclimate, right? We're running into recession. We're running into people being weary about things. So if you can outbound and get people's trust with referrals, that's a good way of going about it as well. But these are my initial insights. This is like where my head's at. Curious how people feel if I'm off. They feel the same. That's like where I'm at with it.
I think you're not wrong about any of that. What's interesting to me is I've seen more founders say things like, how can I get my team to cold call if they don't like it? And they tell me things like cold calling is dead. Like the rise of cold calling is dead it's being buoyed by the fact that Apple says you're a telemarketer. Apple says you're spam likely, right?
Yep.
So that means connect rates go down. Now, back in the day, dude, it was Dun & Bradstreet and ZoomInfo, and that's like where you got your data, and that's like freaking it. Now there's 17 companies, 25 companies that are selling you data. So if you're a sales leader and you're not very plugged into like what's new and what's next with like the tech stack, you're getting bombarded left, right, and sideways saying, this platform's going to do everything you need. This platform's got everything you need. Leading AI. And you're like, whoa, what? I just want more pipeline, right?
That's it. Like, I just want to keep this super simple.
Yeah. How do I get in front of people that I don't know? Because marketing has been wasting my budget. Now I need to get in front of people I don't know to potentially sell them solutions to problems. How do I do that? Like, I hear that a lot. People come to me saying, Kevin, like what actually works? You know, I get that. Do you ever get that saying? People say like, I can scale the crap out of it if it works, man. Like I just need something that works. I'm like, well, I wish there was a short answer. How you doing? Kevin with Silver Sky here. Did I catch you at the second? Fantastic. Well, I'm with a company called Silver Sky Technologies. The reason I was reaching out, we specialize in helping businesses like yours develop a proactive cybersecurity posture. And we totally understand. We get it. Most businesses have something in place when it comes to cybersecurity, but we're also hearing a lot of really consistent challenges when it comes to the visibility folks have into their program or the bandwidth of their internal staff to handle things like remediation, respond to threats on time. I understand you're not the decision maker. I have you down as, okay, you're involved in knowledge management in the IT department, right? Okay. Do you know if you were me and you were trying to have an educated conversation with someone at Peapod about cybersecurity, who would you reach out to? Okay, last question for you, Brian. Do you guys manage cybersecurity in-house exclusively, or are you leaning on a third party, like a managed cybersecurity provider? You know? Interesting. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for the call and have a great rest of your day. Wow. Okay, so this guy talked into my list. Of course, this list is full of directors and like managers, and this guy is the knowledge manager. So if you search IT manager, it comes up. Mm-hmm. So when I think knowledge manager, I'm thinking this guy probably runs their like internal wiki or their knowledge base around what to do with IT problems, which is like, who knew that was something that someone did all day, every day? Because the first thing he said was, I'm not involved in cybersecurity at all. So then I go, okay, if you were me and you're trying to talk cybersecurity, who should you talk to? And he's like, I don't know. Yep. Then I say, okay, well, just tell me about what you guys are doing in the broadest sense. We back all the way out and say, like, how are you doing cybersecurity? And he's like, I have no clue. So,
yeah,
he
probably is straight information, nothing to do, like you said, with security at all.
And it didn't sound like he was being like disingenuous. He sounded very like, I'm not sure, man. I have no idea. I'm like, all right, well.
I feel like people like that are probably in silos. So he genuinely has no idea.
Yeah. Which is wild. It'll always be wild to me. Like, look, I'm not the one who makes a decision to purchase a CRM, but if someone called me and said, like, who do I talk to about the CRM? I could tell them who to talk to. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, why are you so like detached from your entire organization? Like, what's going on? It's what happens, though.
You should plug in and pay attention.
I mean, I like the fact you at least you said a recommend piece. I think at least you can get some referral, even if it's probably not going to go anywhere.
And So what I was training SDRs is like, okay, you're not the guy. Who is? Okay, you don't know who is. Now let's just go straight. Inspector Gadget. Clue finding mission, fact finding mission. Like what can you tell me about the organization that I don't know today? And with Silver Sky, there are basically like two buckets that any one of their prospects falls into, which is we handle cybersecurity in-house or we outsource to a partner like Silver Sky.
Yeah.
And then we go out there like that. But back to our idea around what's new and what's next for cybersecurity. What are your thoughts on artificial intelligence as it relates to what we?
I don't know. So that's a deep one. That's like a 30-minute one. I'm pretty sure everyone has probably seen ChatGPT at this point. If you haven't, you actually have been under a rock or have not had any Wi-Fi. I'm curious if anyone in here listening in has used ChatGPT for anything sales related. If you have, yes or no, let us know. I think it's great as an accelerant to really put your ideas out there, maybe even think of like a template or whatever it is. And I'm not saying spam templates, so that's what I'm saying. But I think it's a good accelerant to be like, okay, I'm thinking this, like, let me see what it could come up with. However, I just genuinely don't think that like AI is going to replace sales, because I asked it to write a cold email and it's terrible. It's awful. Like I've asked it to write it a lot of different things and it's not good. The cold call framework, the cold email, a cold video, anything, it just doesn't do that well. I think it's good to like be like, hey, find me some facts, find me some information. It can find those really quick. So from a research standpoint, you could get a ton of information on a company without having to do any research. So that's actually what it really helps. But I actually think if this is an accelerant at the end of the day, it's not going to inhibit you. Now, here's the thing. If you decide not to skill up and you become lazy and you're just chilling and you're like, it's going to replace you. like that will happen. That's why you got to skill up.
And that's all we got for today's episode of Hop on Calls, powered by Kixie. Be sure to tune into the live recordings every Tuesday on LinkedIn. Would love to have your comments, reactions, questions. It's a really good learning environment for anyone that is looking to do outbound sales better. If your organization is actively focusing on this, feel free to reach out to me, Kevin Hopp, on LinkedIn, or go to hoppconsultinggroup.com. I'll see you next time. Cheers.